You know, there's some stuff that I wanted and they wanted, and one of the things I wanted was that we needed to, one night wasn't going to be enough. So we wanted to do, I wanted to do 3 nights. And we're sold out 3 nights. And I wanted to make sure that every night, everybody felt like they were part of Matt's induction, and you guys are very much a part of Matt's induction. We want to show every video, we want to show you everything. And with that said, I think it's time we get down to business, and let's take a look at the life of Mr. Matt Minglewood.
Oh shit. Why have we come here tonight? We came here to do a little bit of rock and roll.
An East Coast icon. One of the greats, absolutely, that we've ever had.
Matt's music has stood the test of time because there's a lot of music that people remember from back when they were part of their lives growing up, or that they remember from certain times, and then he kept on changing and putting in new songs, and all of that sort of keeps people's interest. You know, what's he going to do next?
Your 2020 Casino Nova Scotia Music Hall of Fame inductee, rocking the blues for over 50 years, Matt Minglewood. With a career spanning more than 5 decades, Matt Minglewood is one of the most recognizable names in Nova Scotia music.
His music is important for sure, but it's the man. It's him, really. He's got a presence on stage that nobody else could claim to equal.
Born in Moncton, New Brunswick, and raised in North Sydney, Cape Breton, Minglewood was a natural-born musician. He learned to play fiddle before he could read, but fell in love with blues and rock and roll as a teen. He soon began performing, and by the 60s was well established in the band scene. By his early 20s, Matt formed Moon, Minglewood, and the Universal Power, which by the mid-70s became known as the Minglewood Band. The group toured extensively and recorded their first album, called the Red Album.
Everything was new and fresh, and we were learning our trade and learning our craft, and it was a time of a lot of fun.
Matt has 14 recordings, 3 gold records, numerous awards and accolades, and has cast a long shadow on the Nova Scotia music scene.
Matt Minglewood's music has had a massive impact on the East Coast music scene. I mean, if you go back to Moon, Minglewood, and the Universal Power, he's been doing this for over half a century and impacting the music scene ever since. He's still a big part of it.
I think you can see a lot of young people coming up that are drawn from Matt. You can see the odd cowboy hat. I think he's been a pretty big influence on younger and even established musicians.
From Afghanistan to the Yukon, Minglewood has taken his East Coast blues around the world.
There's no question Matt's industrial Cape Breton roots have defined him and his music. It's raw, and it's straight out of his boots. It's as real as you get.
My buddy Matt is a real maritime icon because he's a trailblazer, set the pace for what's today maritime rock and roll, or blues, or he likes to call it rock and blues, and deserves to be a Hall of Famer. He's been that way, Hall of Famer for a long time. And he finally gets to get up on the wall.
Matt Minglewood's contribution to the culture and music community of the East Coast is immeasurable. We are honored to induct this legendary East Coast rocker into the Casino Nova Scotia Music Hall of Fame.
Folks, there's only one way to end this night, you know that, right? Minglewood, if you don't mind. Kim Dunn, if you want to come back, you can join me on guitar, you can help Jeff on the piano, you can do whatever you want. Come and join us for this song. Come back and join us for this song, Comer.
This is definitely a song all about loneliness. You know, so many different kinds of loneliness in this world. Let me just tell you about one. Let's just say a young farm boy, a country boy from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. He might feel like he should do something different than his daddy did. Farming and fishing and coal mining and working in the steel plant. It's not that he's not proud of his dad, he is. That he find himself living in the brand new 21st century on the cusp of the millennium where there ain't no money in farming and the fishing's gone and the coal mining's gone, the steel plant is gone. But we got a tarpaulin. They covered it up though. So a young man like that, he'd head on out west, you know, to get a job and make a life. Montreal, Toronto, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, Fort McMurray, Fort McLeod, Fort St. John, Fort Resolute, Fort Nelson, Fort Saskatchewan. Man, they got a lot of forts out there. He'd get himself a pretty good job, work himself up the corporate ladder, foreman someday, you can never tell. But it still won't help his loneliness. A young man like that need to find himself a good woman. Oh, but it wouldn't be a good one he'd find, because it wouldn't be too long before you know he'd be walking home late one night after working a double shift. He'd step out the elevator to the 25th floor, make that long anxious walk down that short corridor and thinking everything was just like it was before. He'd open up the apartment door and that's when he'd see it, that note. You know the kind of note I'm talking about. Dear John, I'm gone. You know, he'd have his whole world fall right down in front of his face. He'd find himself at 4 o'clock in the early morning down along the side of the railroad track. He'd be cold and lonely and all alone, trying to hitch his only way back. Gonna take a freight train down to the station, Lord. I don't care where it goes. Climb a mountain, highest mountain, Lord. Gonna jump right off, ain't nobody gonna know. Can't you see? Can't you see? about. Keep it up. Oh, such a crazy mama lady. Gonna do it. She gonna drive me crazy. Take a freight train out of the streets of war. I ain't coming back. I'm ride that eastbound. Take it all the way to Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, by the train on its way to Newfoundland. Can't you see? Can't you see what that woman been doing to me? Can't you see? Can't you see what that woman? What that woman? Just like Willie Nelson. She has a